Hey, happy Sunday. I have not seen anybody in a while. It's been like over a week, I think. It's been a pretty busy week. So, anyway, let's get right into it. This past week, I spoke with somebody, a brilliant mind, and he told me he graduated from a top Ivy League school. We all know that person who graduated top of the top, and he told me, Esther, where I work as the chief, I'm not going to say what chief he is in the hospital. I don't want to give away too much because a lot of my people who watch are working with me. But he works at the top, cream of the crop, makes a lot of money, talks about how his house is big in the Hamptons and how his kids are in Ivy Leagues and how his wife makes lots and lots of money and how he could retire. And all of this talk in the beginning made me, wow, this guy's got a lot of things going for him. He's got a lot of success on what we value success in, right? Like we're all trying, most of us, I think, are trying to strive for financial freedom, for just a lavish or at least comfortable lifestyle. And this guy seemed to have checked off all the boxes. Even his kids were established. And so one of my PA friends, so this is what happened, and this is what changed, totally blew my mind and made me realize something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you went to, what Ivy League school you went to, how much education or prestige you may have accomplished in this world, if you are cruel to people. And I didn't really notice that right away. First I was like, wow, this guy's got a lot of things. I was like, he's really amazing. And then I saw how he spoke to my coworker, who happens to be overweight. And he said to her, I won't say her name, if you wouldn't eat so much, ha ha ha, if you wouldn't eat so much, you'd be able to move more fluidly in the room during the procedure, ha ha ha. And I was like, what? That is not cool. How can you speak like that to anybody? That is not nice. And I couldn't hold myself back. I gave him this look, and I said, how could you say that? And he tells me, he starts laughing like it's a joke. And I look at the girl and she's like, just, it's okay. Like, meaning like, this is how he is. This is who, it's okay. It's acceptable. He's the chief, we allow these things because of his position. And I just said to him, how could you say such a thing? That's so inappropriate. And he said to me, it's okay. Me and her go way back. We're allowed to speak to each other like that. I don't make mistakes. Whatever, I'm okay. I said, you don't make mistakes? Maybe we should ask your wife what type of person you are. Because I just couldn't hold back. And you know what happened in that moment? How many of us have experienced this? The respect level went from 100 to 0. Why? He's still graduated from Ivy League. His children are still in Ivy Leagues. He still has this amazing house with a big pool and so much prestige and respect, or so, quote unquote. But what really changed was how his brilliant mind didn't interpret it into a caring heart. That's something that just totally blew me away. And I shared that with my kids at the dinner table. I said, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how much success you accomplish if you don't treat people kindly, And so that was one story that really just blew me away. I want to share with you something else. I was thinking about this the other day. I was reading this book. Okay, I was reading another book called this one, Likutei Maharan. It's in Hebrew. I mean, I didn't read it in Hebrew. It's translated. Okay. And I just started reading it because somebody, Gedalia Fenster, was recommending it. He always reads this book in his speeches. And I said, let me read it. Anyway, so on page 17, he writes, the author is Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. He had a huge following. He was like only 38 when he died, and he had created this huge movement. And I share a lot of his quotes. I read a lot of his stuff. Just beautiful stuff. Just type in Rabbi Nachman quotes on Google and you'll be inspired. Okay? Anyway, so he writes, the whole purpose of intelligence is that you should, one second, hold on, I'm saying it wrong. A person must always focus on the inner intelligence of every matter and bind himself to the wisdom and inner intelligence that is to be found in each thing. So, why? This is so that the intelligence which is in each thing may enlighten him, so that he may be drawn closer to God. If you can through that thing. So the other day I was in the park and I kind of felt this quote made so much sense to me because I was looking at, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this, when you look up at the sky and it's like really sunny and the sun is shining through the leaves and it's kind of so sparkly, the leaves, and you look up and you're like taken away, right? The breath of it's so beautiful. So anyway, so as I was looking at it, I said, you know what's amazing? This tree with all these leaves that's giving me shade in the hot sun was really just a seed. And the only difference between the seed and this tree, really, if you think about it, is time, over the course of time. And I thought to myself, how many of us have experienced this where we're trying to do something and we just let it go because it's just hard. Whatever it may be, we're trying to get better at something, we're trying to stick to something to get ourselves on track with it, and we just can't follow through with it. And when I thought about how, you know, God's message in this beautiful, graciously big tree that was once a seed that didn't know that it was going to protect me from the hot sun. I mean, it had such a destiny to be flourishing over the earth. Didn't know when it was once a seed that it would be this great. And if we just understood that our little action, which is a seed planted, our little action under the earth, we are all under the earth with our actions. We don't really know how much of an impact our tree is going to have, or how much of an impact it gets to be when it's above ground. We're under the ground. But we must have faith that this tiny seed, this action, is going to yield a beautiful, big purpose, whatever it may be. Even something as simple as this Facebook Live, right? It's like a seed. I'm just planting a seed for myself so I could learn, because God knows I need the lesson. My husband actually told me to watch my own Facebook Live, guys, because I haven't really been so good with my positivity. So yeah. So anyway, but I plant the seed again because I have to. Because one day you never know which seed is going to yield the big tree, and just keep at it, because time, over the course of time, that action repeated is going to yield great results. But how can we ever know? And this is the real lesson for me, that is like finding God in this. How can we ever know the effect of our actions? We can't really, right? We can't really ever know. Like, how many times have you done something kind for someone and somehow you learned along the way, long way down the way, how much of an impact it had on somebody unrelated to the story, and look back and you think, I didn't even know. And how many of those situations are happening every day? You don't even know. We don't know. So finding God in everything, finding that small seed, even an embryo, if you look at it, it's like a seed, right? So small. The lesson, I think, for me from God is that to achieve greatness, like you look at the tree, you think, wow, that's really amazing, or a human being, wow, look how much he's accomplished, like that professor, doctor, whatever you want to call him. It all started from a tiny, tiny embryo, from a tiny, tiny seed that essentially they all look the same. You don't really know what it's going to turn into. And then as it evolves, it has more character and more development. And the same thing goes with our dreams, I think, and our goals. As that evolves, because we're planting the seed to visualize and to focus and to have it, as that evolves, it has more character and more definition and more clarity in its purpose, you know? Like when I started these lives, I was just, I didn't know. But now I feel like, I really want to share more, and I have a clearer vision of what it is that I want to talk about, because over time that happens to be, like, I find that you seek your purpose through repetitive actions of finding your goal. I mean, I hope that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, so that's my lesson for today for myself, that prestige, number one, cannot buy or earn you respect, even though you have a high status. And I know a lot of you people watching work in the hospital. How many of us have seen this, where people of a high status, they're doctors, and maybe they're even, I don't know, administrators, they're not kind, right? They just lost their manners. And you look at them and you think, I don't respect you. You can't even earn my respect with the amount of knowledge that you contain about how to deal with a diagnosis and manage a disease, because you lost your humanity. And that is the most important thing in this world, to connect to other people through humanity, because you cannot end this world. I mean, you can end this world, but who wants to end this world thinking, I made a lot of money and my pool was big? Does that matter? Does that matter? The other day I was watching on Facebook, because I'm a little bit of a Facebook junkie, I'll admit it. I have to stop. But I was watching it, and it just got me thinking. It was this woman who had like thousands and thousands of dollars of shoes. Has anyone else seen this video? She had a closet with tons and tons of expensive, extravagant shoes and clothes. And she's like, I never wore this, but I love it. And it's like $17,000. And I'm just like, what's wrong with you? Why? Whatever, let her be. But in my head, I'm thinking, when you die, you can't carry all of this. Up in heaven, you know what's really on the pedestal? All your good deeds. So if you're too busy working on how much money you have to fill up your closet, where are you working on filling up the podium upstairs, the big closet upstairs in heaven, when you go up after you're done here and you look and it's like really empty? Because she's been really busy filling up her Gucci and Prada and Louis Saint Laurent. I can't pronounce these names. All that other stuff. Anyway, so that's it. That's all. I said my rant. I missed you guys, and thank you all for coming in, whoever came in. I enjoy talking with you. Take it easy. Bye.